Hey, I'm Creech and this is Creech and Cars. As trucks and SUVs keep growing larger and larger, there's more opportunity now than ever for automakers to launch inexpensive and compact trucks. The Maverick has been wildly successful for Ford, and even Hyundai has gotten in on the action with this Santa Cruz. But with this segment still having far more room to grow, it seems that Toyota has a compact pickup truck of its own, and today I'm going to be going over everything we know so far about this truck, which may be called the Stout. I'll go over the potential mechanical and performance specs, and then take a look at what both the exterior and interior design might look like. Finally, I'll go over the potential pricing, trim levels, and release date, and then give my opinion on whether or not this new model from Toyota will be successful. So first, let's briefly talk about the name. As you're probably aware, Toyota sells the Hilux instead of the Tacoma overseas, but for over 40 years, Toyota produced a compact truck called the Stout that eventually evolved into the Hilux. Of course, in the United States, we've had the mid-size Tacoma for some time now, and that has steadily grown over the years into a pretty large truck at this point, and with the fourth generation on the way, reports are suggesting that it will keep on stretching its dimensions. This has been the case with pretty much all of the now mid-sized trucks, like the Ranger, having grown to the point where automakers can now produce an even smaller truck that still has decent capability and interior space. And that's exactly what Ford did by debuting the Maverick a couple years ago. With Toyota, as the Hilux and Tacoma have grown, there's now a gap in the lineup, and it seems that Toyota can use this gap to revive the Stout name as a new compact truck. Ford and Hyundai were both able to take the platform and other underpinnings from compact SUVs to build their respective small trucks from, and that seems like exactly what Toyota would do. More specifically, Toyota has the TNGA unibody platform that serves as the basis for the Camry and Corolla, but more importantly for the Corolla Cross and RAV4, which are these small SUVs that would essentially be truckified into the Stout. And this can give us the rough dimensions and layout of the Stout as well. Toyota executives have said that the TNGA platform, when adapted to the SUVs, is designed for urban and light off-road use, which would be perfect for a compact truck. This is a great platform for Toyota to have because of how easily it can be adapted to a small pickup, meaning that Toyota can keep production costs down so that the Stout can be as cheap or cheaper than its rivals. The price is another huge selling point with these trucks, as mid-size and full-size trucks have grown in price as much as they have grown in size over the past couple of decades. As far as the powertrain goes, I would expect Toyota to offer something similar to the options present in the Ford Maverick. This means the Stout should come with two main powertrain options, including a base, naturally aspirated 4-cylinder, which would either be a 2-liter or a 2.5-liter. Toyota's 2-liter 4-cylinder engine makes 169 horsepower, while the 2.4-liter engine produces a tad over 200 horsepower. In addition to this 4-cylinder, there will be a hybrid option, which would bump the power output up to around 220 to 230 horsepower and provide somewhere around 40 miles per gallon. The RAV4 has an optional electric all-wheel drive system for the RAV4 hybrid, and the Stout should carry over a similar system, but this will be optional. Toyota also has a couple options for the transmission. The RAV4 uses an 8-speed automatic, and the Corolla Cross uses a CVT. I would really like to see the traditional automatic in the pickup truck to help out with the light hauling and towing that customers would at least expect from a pickup. So that's everything we know so far about the mechanical setup, and while we don't have any official renderings or shots to show us what the Stout would look like, several artists have put together some speculative renderings to show the potential design features. I do think the Stout will borrow more cues from the Tundra and Tacoma and take very little from the RAV4 or Corolla Cross on the outside. I particularly like this rendering from Kuhn's Toyota. It shows a Stout with the same general shape and design of the Tacoma, but with a very aggressive front fascia and nice looking thin LED headlights. I think this design could be what you can expect a TRD Sport Stout to look like, with the all-terrain tires and high approach angle with the skid plate. As you can see, this is a crew cab, and I think similarly to the Maverick and Santa Cruz, the Stout would only be offered as a crew cab. The Stout should also be in between 185 and 190 inches in length, meaning it would be smaller than the competition by maybe half a foot. Taking a look at another rendering from Car Buzz, this one takes much more inspiration from the new Land Cruiser with its retro boxy design and circular headlights. I don't like the color choice here, but with the extended cab design, I think this one looks nice and rugged, although I doubt the production version will turn out much like this. And one last rendering before we go over the interior. This one is from Car and Driver, and this is quite literally a Corolla Cross truck. I don't think this looks that good, being so similar to the Corolla Cross, but I think it accurately represents the actual proportions of the Stout with the usable back seats and a very small bed, much like the layout of its competitors. As for the interior, Toyota executives have described the Stout as being an SUV with a bed, so I think it's safe to assume that the Stout's interior will share most of, or nearly all of, its parts with the Corolla Cross and RAV4, so here's a quick look at those two interiors. The Corolla Cross has a clean and simple interior where the good-sized infotainment screen sticks out from the dash as the main focus. There are a few controls with analog gauges and a small driver information screen, but there's also decent storage for the size. The RAV4 is similar but a little more squared off and rugged looking, and I think this design would go much better with a pickup truck. Being more expensive, the RAV4 also has a few more features on the interior, like a partially digital gauge cluster, and I feel like the climate controls in the RAV4 are much more accessible and easier to use than the Corolla. Either way, part sharing will be important to keeping the cost low and allowing the Stout to compete with the cheap competition. The Maverick starts at $25,000 and the Santa Cruz is a little more, starting at $28,000. I would expect the Stout to be right around the Maverick if it can't undercut Ford, and that would leave the Santa Cruz still being the more expensive option. A $25,000 Stout would be the SR5 trim and would probably be pretty stripped down, but you can also expect a TRD Sport Stout around $30,000 and then a Stout Limited around $35,000 to compete with the Maverick Lariat. We should see Toyota reveal the Stout sometime in 2024, and it could go on sale in 2025 as a 2026 model year. So with all that in mind, will the all-new Toyota Stout be successful? I think this one is a no-brainer. The Ford Maverick has been flying off the lot ever since its debut, with strong interest from fleet and consumer buyers, so much that people have been willing to pay above sticker even as the supply is stabilized. The Santa Cruz hasn't been selling as well, but it doesn't target fleet buyers at all and has a higher starting price with more standard features. With Toyota's legendary reputation for rugged reliability, I have no doubt that people will be rushing to buy a small Toyota pickup, and this is also confirmed by the fact that Toyota has mentioned that dealers from all over the country have suggested that Toyota make a small pickup again. A good price should be reasonably accomplished as Toyota already has the platform and the vast majority of the parts required to produce this truck, and the real surprise here is that the new Stout hasn't already happened yet. So that's everything we know so far about the all-new upcoming Toyota Stout, Toyota's return to the compact truck segment. Let me know what you think about the Stout in the comments below. Do you think this is a good move, and would you be interested in a small truck from Toyota? On this channel, I talk about car news like this, as well as history and culture, so if you like this video, be sure to check out the rest of the channel and subscribe so you don't miss future uploads. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.